What is this? This man gets
Starting now.
How many of us know Mary Jane? This is important because it has the potential to drive up crime in your area, and you have to ask yourself, is it worth it? This is important because your state could be next. I'm connected to this topic because my state, as well as yours, as we speak, are debating right now whether to legalize it in your state. Today I'll be covering the history of marijuana, legalization, factors concerning marijuana, and its potential link to crime. So what is marijuana? Marijuana is a psychoactive variety of the hemp plant called Cannabis sativa. The Spanish word marijuana, when translated to the English language, comes to Mary and Jane, which is where they come up with the nickname Mary Jane from marijuana. The plant has been referred to as early as 2700 BC in Chinese manuscripts. According to Dr. Segal, Jamestown settlers were among the first to bring marijuana to the United States. In the 1600s, farmers were known to be fined for not growing enough of the plant. And we can see this according to the Gale Encyclopedia of Science. Also, there have been journal entries dated August 1765 that indicate George Washington grew hemp on his Mount Vernon plantation. So how did marijuana become popular? Well, marijuana became popular in the 1920s because of an amendment that prohibited alcohol, which drove up the recreational use of marijuana. A study done in 2004 showed that some 94 million Americans at some point or another in their lifetime had used marijuana. Also, marijuana is popular because its potency is not related to dependency, which means there's a lack of evidence to show that a person could be dependent on marijuana. It's a non-addictive drug. Now that we have covered the history, let's talk about the extent of legalization of marijuana. Marijuana is being used as a cash crop by states in the U.S. To make legalization a good idea, states always bring about that they're going to use it for tax purposes, generate enough revenues to help out the education system, and things of that nature. Colorado, for example, since legalizing marijuana, has seen tax revenues upwards towards $98 million through legalizing marijuana. And as you can see in front of you, a map I've given you from USA Today that shows states throughout the United States so far that have legalized marijuana. And as you can see, it's more predominant on the West Coast more than anything, with states like California, Nevada, Portland, Washington, and Hawaii were among the first to legalize marijuana. And there are very few states on the East Coast, with Maine and states like Vermont that have recently legalized marijuana. According to the Huffington Post, they claim that legalizing marijuana will create 7,500 to 10,000 jobs. They also state that marijuana prohibition cost the government and the states upwards of $17.4 billion a year for not legalizing marijuana. In other words, we're saying they're missing out on this amount of money by not legalizing and helping out their states. Now that we know why legalization is happening, let's take a look at the potential link to crime it has in driving crime rates up. There have been a number of studies that have examined the relationship between marijuana use and potential crime. According to Robert Morris's article, The Effect of Medical Marijuana Laws on Crime, he states, youths who tested positive for marijuana had a significantly higher number of referrals to juvenile court for felonies than those who tested negative for marijuana use. Long-term use has been researched to show that it can promote violence because of changes in the central nervous system. Other long-term effects include immune system disorders, inability to retain information. Some of the short-term effects they found were panic, anxiety, increased heartbeat, and sensory distortion. Now we can see why legalization should be halted until further medical examination and studies have been done. In closing, we've discussed the history of marijuana, the legalization of marijuana, and crime that is reportedly linked to the legalization of marijuana. This is important because there is a potential that legalization may cause more crime in your area. Now that you know Mary Jane, will your area be its next victim?